do the next Marvel Legends review. This is Drax from 2012 Marvel Legends, Return of Marvel Legends, whatever you want to call it, Wave 2, Drax. Get ready for kind of a ranty review. There's not a lot about this figure that's really a good thing at all. He suffers from, well, let's just go ahead and treat it like a normal review. He stands 6.5 inches tall, which is normal for the Shield Agent body. Don't really expect too much different from them in terms of that. One thing I want to point out before I even get into the review, look at that. He's got these little notches up here on the back part of his torso. Those were not there on the Shield Agent. They weren't there on the Steve Rogers figure, and they weren't there on the Face-Off Punisher. So that's a new thing, and I don't know if that has something to do with maybe another figure that this mold's going to get used for, that something's going to get pushed in there and glued in. So that's kind of intriguing to me. I hope that they do use this body again. I do like the body. I just don't like a lot of things about this, in particular, this figure. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about it, and then we'll mention the bad things later. Head articulation, it's on the disc, so full up and down, full rotation. The head is too big for the body again, though. Not by a huge amount, but by enough to where I don't like it. It looks really off. At least the Steve Rogers figure had straps and things to make the body look thicker. This time he's just got a really big head. That being said, the sculpt on the head is really nice. I could see this being used for customs a lot. So that's a plus. But for those of you that don't customize, it's not, because he's just got a big head. Whatever. Same shoulders as before, so they didn't put any of the detailing on there. It looks like crap. It just does not look good at all. They could have at least maybe trimmed the shoulder disc so that they could put the ink on there, or the paint, or even just do it anyway, because it doesn't probably rub off, is my guess. A lot of figures have coloring on there and it doesn't rub off. So that just looks really bad. It really, really ruins the design of the shoulder, the red part. So full range shoulder, you know, nothing new there. Double jointed elbows, nothing new there. He has new hands from the cut joint down because he couldn't have the same gloves as the other two guys. So he's got new wrists that don't really line up. They're a little bit big. And the paint is all over the place. Everywhere, really. There's shading all over the green that doesn't line up. The greens are different. The paint looks absolutely horrendous on this guy. The shoulders are really dark compared to the torso. Hopefully you can actually see it in camera, but it looks terrible in person. There's shading all over the chest. It doesn't match the abdomen. The forearms have no shading on them compared to back here. And then there's no shading actually at all on the forearms except for down here on the bottom of the wrist. So that looks really bad. It just doesn't match up. And then on this forearm, they wanted to get fancy and they put a knife there. The only problem is the knife has to stay there, so it's really stupid. How hard would it have been to make it removable? Or better yet, just not bother with it, because that looks really, really bad. At least if it was removable, I'd be okay with it, but this just looks like junk. It's sloppily done. There's silver paint on the wrist. The knife isn't sculpted properly. The bandages or straps aren't sculpted properly. The greens don't match. And it's just ugly, ugly, ugly. And it's kind of a cool knife too, so not having it removable is just more of a slap in the face. The only good thing about him though is he does have some nice hands, so I could see people maybe using these hands for customs. Pretty good size and nice sculpt on them. He does come with these two knives that he does hold fairly well because he has good hands. The knives are a little flimsy and sloppy, but they are there. They're really, really soft, so they're probably going to be bent. You'll have to dunk them in some water to heat them up and soften them. Apparently this one is numbered 4, and this one is numbered 2. I don't know why that's on there. I don't like that. Things like that bother me because they don't need to be there. You could have hidden it in the handle somewhere, so it wouldn't be as obvious. But it's right on the blade, so that sucks. He has this belt, which isn't connected. It does fit on him nicely, so I don't know. They could have put a dab of glue on there. But it does come off too, so I guess that's okay. I don't know why they did that. If they were going to do that, which they did, they should have filled this in so he didn't have that seam where they glued the old belt on there. Whatever. So the belt does come off. It's nicely done. It's painted actually. We have painted loops on there and a buckle. And he has these little pouch things to hold the knives, which got no paint on the back. I guess they figured it was on the back, so why bother? But the pouch things are split so that I guess you can get the knives in easier, but it just makes them loose. And if you put the knives in, they don't fit anyway with both knives in there. They just kind of bounce into each other, or they slightly overlap. But look how far they stick out. Let me put it on the figure and show you. It's just really terrible. I don't know why they did that. Those are kind of big knives, and if they're going to put them on the back like that, it just looks stupid, like really, really stupid. And even if you push them farther through so that the handles are in there, kind of like that, they don't hold because of the slit that's in there. And it still doesn't look the best, even if you can figure out a way to get them in there. It just doesn't work well, and I don't like it. So if you're going to use the knives, put them in his hands at least so it doesn't look totally stupid. That being said, he has a good ab crunch. It's ratcheted. It's not loose like some of the face-off figures. And the waist twist is fine. Still has the wide-jointed ball hips, but full range of motion still, so that's okay. Same thighs as the Shield Agent. They patched the hole there so he doesn't have a pouch or the straps. So I guess technically this one's not the same, but it pretty much is. They just got rid of the straps and stuff, so that's fine with me. That's really nice, actually, because it's good for customizing. Although I'd be lying if I didn't say I think this one, this resculpt on this thigh, it seems a lot fatter than this one. If you're just holding them, this one seems a lot bulkier than this one, so I don't know. Double jointed knees, and they're the good kind of knee where I said like the kneecap actually sticks out. If you look back at the Bucky Cap review, I said it's kind of flat, and this one looks much better, so I'm happy with that. He has new lower legs for the pants, which are nice. There's no shin swivel in there, so they did a good job with that because I don't like that joint and it's ugly. The only problem is they gave him these boots, and it's somewhat limited, but they're still really not that bad. There's no rocker in there. That's the problem. You can get forward and backward motion just fine. As you can see, there's a swivel and a hinge. There's just no ankle rocker, which would have been nice, but still, it's not bad. So really, the best part about this guy is that you could use him as custom fodder to make another figure that doesn't suck. Because this guy pretty much sucks. I would love to have a nice Drax figure, but with the paint shading all over the place, and another thing I just noticed, there's a big gap in the arm right here. Like that wasn't there before on the old use of this mold, so I don't know what's up with that. Whatever, it's just overall they screwed up a lot of things on this figure and it could have been really nice. So it's not absolutely terrible, but knowing what it could have been, it makes you a little bit unhappy. It does for me anyway. I'll stop ranting. You guys form your own opinions based on what I showed you. And if you disagree or agree, let me know in the comment section below. That's perfectly fine. I'm sure a lot of people like this figure. But for me, there's just too many problems to go unnoticed. I like him better for his part value rather than the whole. So in this case, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. Whatever. There he is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the reviews, and in the meantime, keep collecting.